أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone who has made time to log on. This is our fifth day of our virtual camp. This camp has been organized by the International Islamic Institute of Learning based in Pakistan, and it is our first camp that we are doing, and we hope to have quite a number, inshallah, in the future. We'll be letting you know for such opportunities as and when they come. Today or this evening, we are having yet another big resourceful person who is going to be taking us through another kind of topic, which is very important for people who are doing dawah, and it is very beneficial for, especially to the people who are living in the communities where Muslims quite of meager numbers, and we hope, inshallah, if we receive these, trainings, they can have, a change in the way we do or conduct our dawah. I just wanted to confirm if I'm clear enough in terms of the voice. Am I audible enough?
Yes.
From the audience, can I have anybody who can volunteer to have a minute of Quran recitation? By show of hand, if we can't have one, then we shall move on directly. The introduction of our Ustaz for this evening. Anybody who can volunteer, you can put up your hand, and I allow you to make the recitation. Okay, I have Brother Hamza here. Please unmute yourself and have the recitation, inshallah. Please unmute yourself.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس، ومن يفعل ذلك ابتغاء مرضات الله فسوف نؤتيه أجرا عظيما. ومن يشاقق الرسول من بعد ما تبين له الهدى ويتبع غير سبيل المؤمنين نوله ما تولى ونصله جهنم وساءت مصيرا. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء، ومن يشرك بالله فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا. إن يدعون من دونه إلا إناثا وإن يدعون إلا شيطانا مريدا لعنه الله وقال لأتخذن من عبادك نصيبا مفروضا ولأضلنهم ولأمنينهم ولآمرنهم فليبتكن آذان الأنعام ولآمرنهم فليغيرن خلق الله ومن يتخذ الشيطان وليا من دون الله فقد خسر خسرانا مبينا يعدهم ويمنيهم وما يعدهم الشيطان إلا غرورا أولئك مأواهم جهنم ولا يجدون عنها محيصا صدق الله العظيم.
Okay, Barakallahu Fikum, Brother Hamza, for that kind of beautiful recitation. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you a lot of rewards, and equally whoever made an effort to make you attain that level. This evening, we are going to continue with our third session for the day, and this is our last session. As I said, Menya Ayub, your brother based in Kampala, Uganda, who is going to be your host this evening. And the topic that we are going to have this evening is Masjid tours for non-Muslims, an effective dawah methodology. And it is going to be presented by Ustaz Syed Raziuddin Ali. He is a US-based national. He is a geologist, an educationist, and a Masjid tour expert. He has been working in Bahrain for over 20 years, established a number of schools, and some of these schools he has, is the one who has worked on the curriculum that is being taught in those schools. He has founded so many organizations, and outstanding among them is Discover Islam Bahrain. And this is an organization that is majorly focused on dawah to non-Muslims and reverts. So it is doing a lot of good work in the Middle East and around the world. He has founded a program that is called ATMT, which is awareness through mosque tour. And he has trained a number of people in this program all over the world. I'm privileged that I've been one of those that have benefited from this program. We have met, physically. I've trained for over a week. The program is a bit long, so I will be quite attentive to get, is going to compound this in just an hour. So the training takes over a week. So I've been privileged to have a physical and a virtual, and it is really good. I hope you benefit a lot from this kind of program. Ustaz Syed Raziuddin Ali, please, these people, the audience that you are speaking to is a representation of people around the world in over 60 countries. Some are in here in the Zoom, others are watching from Facebook, and others are watching from YouTube. So it is that kind of audience that you are going to speak to. So please, you can take up the floor, inshallah, and we'll have each one and kind of discussion at the end of the session. Brother, you can take up the microphone. Assalamu alaikum. Ustaz, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Are you able to see and hear me, everyone?
Yeah, we can hear you. You are loud and clear.
Okay. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. We start with the dua. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. Which means, oh Allah, benefit us through what you teach us and teach us what benefits us and increase us in knowledge. I'm happy to join this particular Zoom session, which is meant for the university students. I feel very glad to be with the learning persons, young learning people, university people, college students. And thank you for joining this particular session. And thank you for the camp managers to give me an opportunity to share my expertise with all of you. I was in Bahrain for about 40 years. And there we started one organization for addressing, or rather interacting with non-Muslims, reaching out non-Muslims. The name of the organization was Discover Islam. Of course, I have come here to States to join my family members after COVID. But when I was there, we started the program about 27 years ago, called Awareness Through Mosque Tour, ATMT. And this was a program which was about 30 years ago. Nobody thought of inviting non-Muslims into the mosque. So at that time, it was not so easy to have such a program that allows non-Muslims to come inside the mosque. Because most of the Muslims, they were of the opinion that non-Muslims are najas, they are dirty, they are impure, so they do not, and they should not enter the mosque. And this is desecration of a holy place, place of worship for Muslims. So this is the place where we started. This is the mosque, the Grand Mosque in Bahrain. This is called Al-Fateh, Masjid Al-Fateh. And this is a big mosque. This is a tourist spot. And earlier, the tourists used to visit the mosque from outside and then take pictures and go. But it was our initiative that we started to invite them inside and give a guided tour. So we started this particular program with no experience, from scratch, you can say. But with time, with our dedication, we evolved into a very structured type of activity. So, and then we started sharing with outsiders, other people uh, abroad. So this particular program needs training, tour guide to be trained to conduct the tour. This is not just a haphazard way to be conducted, but it has to be, they have to be trained. We have to have training both in theoretical part and practical part. So normally, if we say a detailed training, it would take a week or so. And if it is a short training, um, then it can be done in a week, in a day or two. But what matters is the practical aspect. Theory is okay, but when it comes to practical, to give the guided tour, it needs certain confidence, it needs certain skill of communication, and this is what we impart the training of. So we have introduced this particular program between 2008 and 2014 into different countries, mostly in Southeast Asia, like Malaysia. They were the first people to get attracted to such a program, and it is very well established in Malaysia. And this particular program was also introduced in Sri Lanka, Maldives, even Hong Kong, and I went to Tokyo, Japan, the Turkish mosque, and the Blue Mosque in Turkey. I went 3 times there, and we had very good experience. Anyway, so this particular thing evolved, and through our research and practical experience and seeing the responses from the people. So we have developed a module to make it more structured way and give the training if required. So this was the background of my expertise in this. This particular program was not heard of in those days, olden days when we started. But nowadays, at least it is known, it is familiar. Somewhere in the part of the different parts of the world, it is being conducted, which was not being heard earlier. So in this particular topic, which we have been asked to speak for, Masjid tours for non-Muslims. So it has 2 aspects, Masjid tours and Dawah. Dawah methodology means Dawah. So what is to be understood in this particular case with this topic is Masjid tours, number 1, and Dawah. So, but today I'm going to focus on Masjid tours, not Dawah. But when I'm given a chance to speak in detail, I cover both of these 2 aspects. This particular presentation is prepared for the International Virtual Camp being attended by over 500 university students, alhamdulillah. So, and a lot of things are to be talked, but in 1 hour time, there is a restriction of time. So I will try my best to cover as much as possible. I have to be very quick, but If something is to be elaborated further, we can have different during question answers. I assume that many of you are not familiar with such a program. So that's why I'm going to the most basic things also. This particular program, what we are presenting, is available, it is being conducted in different parts of the world. And it is a variety of ways. Though it is being conducted in different countries, but the concept remains same. The concept is global. So these are the things which I am going to highlight. But my model of presentation model is basically what was developed in Bahrain. So my focus is to present as a model in Bahrain, which we did for people abroad, like Malaysia. They follow this model, but they modify according to their local requirements, according to their local culture and local rules and traditions. So this is applicable in different countries, including Africa. And Kenya is a good place, Uganda is a good place, and there are many more which I'm yet to get exposed. The topics which I'm going to talk about is, number one, something about the program. Number two, why Masjid? Because when we talk about Dawah through Masjid tours, so why Masjid was selected? I'm going to explain this. And the tour, what happens in the tour? What is the tour structure? Then what are the results? So these are the things which I'm going to talk about. So more so on this, focusing on this. This program, as I said, offers an unconventional approach to outreach to people of other faiths. What is the activity done? People of other faiths or no faith are invited inside the masjid and given a guided tour. So this is the activity, summary of the activity. What is the main aim and purpose or objective? To generate an awareness of Islamic faith and culture, Islam and Muslims, and show Islam's relevance to humanity. This is the main thing which we need to keep in mind. So when we talk to non-Muslims, that of course everybody is happy with his or her own religion or own faith, but when we go much above that and talk about human values and human nature and connect to humanity, that makes more sense, and that shows Islam's relevance. So this I have talked about. The program is for the tour guides are to be trained in theory and practical. Now, there are what type of masjid tours are being conducted in the world. Broadly, we can divide them into two categories. One is on daily basis. The other one is on specified days. When it is done on specified days, we call it open house or open day, which is being done in many parts of the world. But there are places where it is done daily, maybe some day off like Friday, because activity of masjid, weekly activity of Friday prayers. There may be some off, but it is every day throughout the year it is being conducted. Whereas the second type, which is specified days, it is an event. This is an event when it is prepared, the masjid is prepared, or the reception is prepared, especially for the open house. who are the visitors? Non-Muslims are mainly tourists in this case, daily basis. So the tourism buses, they keep coming, or tourists, when they visit the country, they keep coming to see the many beautiful places. So, for example, Malaysia has got beautiful mosques, is full of very beautiful mosques. So a lot of tourists, they visit these mosques. And this event, when we say event on a specified days or open day, this is being attracted by mainly locals. Tourists may also come, but mainly locals. So the tourists, they have got different nationalities, different religions, but the locals, they have naturally local traditions. So these are the two categories. We in Bahrain are doing this, and also we have this open day or open house on Eid days, 2-3 days in 2 days in Eid al-Fitr and 2 days Eid al-Adha. So what happens? The people of other faiths are invited inside the masjid and given a guided tour. They are the tourist buses. This is it from Malaysia, and they are being received. There are a number of tourists, they come regular basis. And for example, in Turkey, I was told that minimum 30,000 per day they receive. So much visitors, they come to the mosque, but unfortunately they go back only seeing the building, the architecture, or only that part, the structure part. But nobody gets the message what Islam stands for, why we pray and all this. So this is this is a regular affair in Bahrain. Non-Muslims are received as guests. This is important. We have to receive non-Muslims as guests and shown what goes on here on regular basis. So here in this case, this is from Bahrain. I took these pictures. For example, when the tourists there come, there is somebody available to invite them, to welcome them. And when they come inside the mosque, then there is a reception area where people who are not properly, modestly dressed, then we provide them, particularly ladies. We keep abayas ready for them, and we have different colors, and we offer them different scarves and these things. This may not be possible in a non-Muslim country to adhere to dress code, Islamic dress code. But in Muslim countries, people, non-Muslims who visit, they love to experience this particular dress. If men have shorts, then we provide them thobe. For ladies, we provide these things, abayas. So, but it is not necessary to provide abaya or thobe, the Arabic dress. In Malaysia, for example, they provide their own way of covering the ladies, their dresses. So you can develop as per the local culture what is attractive to them. The idea, and these things are displayed outside the mosque. The rules of or rules and regulations and expectations from non-Muslims who want to visit the mosque. These are the things. And one of these things is dress code, moderate dress code. So they are brought inside the mosque, and then they are given a demonstration of what goes on here. And there are different groups, there are different tour guides, they take different groups. Open day. Now, the previous one was on regular basis. And now I'm going to talk about open day or open house. We display outside the Grand Mosque in Bahrain, and um, there are many booths, very counters open inside the mosque because this is a special day. This is an event. So we have got different sections, um, like posters, and then a sitting arrangement, a formal Arabic sitting called Majlis, where they drink coffee, they take dates and enjoy the local tradition sitting inside. And this is the area in the courtyard. This is not in the main prayer hall, but in the courtyard. Fortunately, this sort of activity, it can be done in Bahrain because it is a big mosque which accommodates 5,000 people, and there is a big courtyard, and so we make arrangement in this courtyard. This may not be possible in all the mosques, but this is an ideal situation why I'm giving. But however, there are other attractions for ladies. For example, we put some henna designing on their hands, and some ladies, Western ladies, they want to put on their legs also. So this is another activity. And even for kids, small and big kids, we make some arrangement to keep them busy when the parents are taking the tour inside the mosque. So the kids, they enjoy their own way. So there are volunteers who are available in this. So this is a special activity. Any activity which is can be attractive to the non-Muslim visitor can be kept, which is not Islamically objectionable. So all those activities can be done. So there are many more, like Arabic calligraphy. People, they get their names written in Arabic language. So there is one calligrapher sitting there. The people, they come, they write, and on a very good paper, as a memory, as a memento, they take home. So all those things, the attractions are there. What is the aim? The main aim and objective is to generate an awareness of the Islamic faith, Islamic concepts, and Islamic practices among the visitors. So there are three things, not only faith related, but concepts. This is also very important thing which we normally miss. And then practices. The aim is to address their misunderstanding, misconceived notions concerning Islam and Muslims. Non-Muslims, they have a lot of misunderstandings about Islam, about Muslims. So this is the time, this is what we aim when they are with us in the mosque, to remove those misconceptions. This leads to promote mutual understanding and respect as needed for peaceful coexistence. We live in a global village. So in a village environment is that people in the village, they live together in peace and harmony. So peaceful coexistence is the reason which we have in a pluralistic society, where many faiths, many cultures, they live together. They have to live in peace and harmony. So this particular program aims at developing and promoting this sort of activity. So these are the things which we keep in our mind. The ultimate aim is what? Ultimate aim is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why we are doing? We are not doing just to make the mosque as a museum piece, to show the architecture or show something, just to or put some posters and other things. to show that who are we and all these things, the 5 pillars of Islam, 6 pillars of Iman, all those things. The ultimate objective, why we do this is seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the intention. So we have to keep in mind all the time when we take up this sort of activity. This is an dawah activity basically, and we are doing other things we are doing for the sake of attracting their attention, for the sake of winning their hearts, winning their minds. So this activity is required. And this is based on the Quranic ayah, Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal mau'izat al hasana. Hikmah is wisdom, and mau'izat al hasana, beautiful way. So the Quran tells us to use wisdom, and wisdom is to connect them, to engage them a friendly way. So this is what we do by inviting them inside the mosque and showing the things inside what happens, and demonstrating some practices like praying. And so, and we're talking interactively in a beautiful way. So this is to win their hearts and minds, and in this particular setting of masjid. And Sunnah also. It's not only Quran. The Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ was receiving delegates of non-Muslims. He received the Christian delegates, Jewish delegates when they come to the masjid. Not only these delegates from Christian delegates from Najran, they came to visit the mosque, but they stayed in the mosque, Masjid Nabawi. They stayed in the mosque, and not only they stayed, but they prayed according to their own way. And why the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed them this? Because he had got a bigger agenda, because he was interested in the welfare of the people, spiritual welfare, and welfare in this dunya and in the hereafter. So out of this concern, he was doing this. So our activity is also aimed in following this particular sunnah. Why masjid? Now we are talking about the main thing for today, which I have. The masjid plays an important role in Islam, in addition to offering the 5 daily prayers and other prayers. Most Muslims, they think that masjid is the place only for prayers, salah, and then they lock it when the congregation is over. So this is not the purpose of a masjid. The masjid is basically a place for Muslims to start as Muslim society. The Prophet ﷺ, when he migrated from Mecca to Medina, the first thing he did, he established a masjid. So that masjid was trying to educate people and to solve their social and spiritual problems. So it's an educative place, and it is also it helps to do dawah. The Masjid Tour Program is considered as an untapped or undertapped tool for reaching out non-Muslims. So this Masjid program, tour program, is to be considered as a tool. Is a way, is a method to reach out to non-Muslims, to do dawah. The role of masjid in this program is essentially a platform. Why? The masjid serves as a platform, a place that provides a great opportunity to effectively interact with other people. So this particular thing, I'm going to explain how does it help us in doing dawah. So there are 5 points I'm going to talk about. This is an ideal platform to communicate with them. This is from Bahrain. This is me standing, and these are the people who are visiting us. So this is, I'm talking about the platform. This is a platform that provides a favorable setting. Masjid setting is very favorable for dawah. When we received in Bahrain, any non-Muslim is who visited Discover Islam, the organization which had an office, and people were visiting and taking literature to read and discuss things. So I used to, if the people are able to come, I used to call them to visit the mosque. So if they are ready, then take them to the mosque and show them mosque and do this whatever we want to communicate. So this is the setting which is very effective. And if we talk in some other place, this spirituality is missing from there, and then the setting and environment is missing, which has got a spiritual effect also, and this is not found in any other place. So the masjid is the best place, best platform to do dawah. So what we should do in this platform? Avail this opportunity to communicate well with them, especially faith-related issues. Faith-related issues. Why I'm emphasizing this? I had a friend, American friend, who I invited for lunch, and I entertained him, offered lunch, and tried to open the subject of religion, faith. And I noticed he was uncomfortable because the general feeling is that faith is a personal matter, and we should not talk about this openly. So, but the same person, when I invited him to the mosque, he was available, and he was asking so many questions. The person who was not willing to proceed on these lines, but the same person was very open, and he was talking about. So these are the things, faith-related issues, particularly which are important to talk about. So try to communicate in an interactive way. A tour guide must communicate an interactive way. You try to listen and then say, it is not only one-way traffic. You should not only keep talking and giving the impression that you are preaching. So if you keep talking, this should be like preaching, and people don't like to be preached. So this is the psychology of the people. And even if we visit some church and somebody comes and starts talking about Christianity and Jesus saved the Savior and Bible gives, so how do you feel? So similarly, they also don't like to be preached. But interactive way, question answers. Even if you want to make your point, don't go straight away to a statement. Rather, you put certain question, throw certain question, get the answer, and then an answer to that counter question, something like this. So interactive is very important. Keep them connected, mind to mind and heart to heart, connected. Keep them engaged. So this is very important. If from the body language, if you feel the tour guide feels that they are disconnected, then we have to connect them back. So how we can connect? This is the training part. In the training part, I give all the details, all the tips. But here I'm not giving the training to the tour guides, but mentioning only the main points. This is another thing. Encourage them to ask curious questions. So when we are interactive, this is possible. We have to encourage them to ask questions. Otherwise, they will not ask out of courtesy. They think that this is not proper to ask a question about Islamic faith because this is offensive behavior. So, but when you encourage them and tell them in the beginning itself that please feel free to ask questions, then they keep asking, and then this is the how question answers, you interactively we proceed and convey the message of Islam. Second point, non-Muslims are interested in seeing the masjid. You see, this is from somewhere, it's not in Bahrain, probably Turkey. They are interested in seeing the mosque. They rarely get a chance to see the inside of a masjid. They love to see the masjid if they are invited. They would be eager and happy to avail this opportunity. If you are inviting them, please come inside, or you make known to them, they will be happy to do this. Another point important is they come to us. We don't have to go. When we are interested in making dawah, so dawah means reaching out the non-Muslims. In order to reach out, probably you have to take efforts to go out to connect to them. But here is the case, you are sitting inside the mosque very comfortably, and people are coming and you are just talking to them. So this is another advantage. So if they are interested in coming to the mosque, turn their interest into your favor. So when they are inside, to avail this opportunity to convey your message. Show them the objects of their interest. Because after all, they have come to see what is inside the mosque, inside the masjid. So if their interest is not met, and we keep talking about Islam, then they feel bored and they think we have an agenda and negative agenda, and want to catch fish or something like that. Then there are objects in the masjid of our interest. We have to show them. Our tour program is not aiming at just showing some objects in the Muslim, like museum tour, but we have our interest that we will talk about later. This is an excellent place to talk about faith-related matters. No better place is handily available to speak about faith in a convincing way, because when they are inside the mosque, they see and they feel, and they raise questions, and then we get the answers, and then things proceed like this. So they may be mentally ready and even eager to listen what we say. So in that environment, in the masjid, they are ready to listen and to see. So this is what we are looking for. This is what we want them to be with us inside the masjid, to watch and to talk. Try to explain the basic Islamic concepts, such as unity and brotherhood of humankind. I was talking about the concepts, Islamic faith, Islamic concepts, and Islamic practices. So concepts are very important. The concept, basic Islamic concept is unity and brotherhood of humankind. How? Islam teaches us that all human beings are descendants of Adam, Bani Adam. Allah says about this in Surah Al-Isra, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. And Allah has given honor and dignity to children of Adam, descendants of Adam. So all human beings, descendants of Adam, and we are brothers and sisters in humanity. This is the concept of non-Muslims being brothers and sisters in humanity. This is making a big impression on their hearts and their feelings, who come inside the mosque with some skepticism, with some fear and apprehension that they are terroristic people, they are anti-Christian, anti-non-Muslims. So, but when we explain this concept, this particular misconception is gone. So this is one of the concepts which is basic, but there are many other concepts which I'm not going to talk about here in detail, which are important when we talk to the non-Muslims from our point of view. A place of spirituality and peace, not of violence and terrorism. A very conducive and favorable environment for interaction, peaceful and spiritual. I was giving a tour to some group, one small group from Canada in Bahrain. I was in the Grand Mosque of Bahrain and giving tour to a small group of Canadians. So after about an hour, one of them, he revealed his identity that he was sheriff dealing with terrorism. That means somebody, police authority, who was meant to deal with terroristic activities. And he said that now, that means after a tour of about an hour, and he said, now I'm convinced that Islam is a peaceful religion and Muslims are not terrorists. If there are terrorists, then this is their problem. This is not Islam which is responsible for this. So we have terroristic and fanatics in every society, whether religious or non-religious, terrorists are there. So if there are some terrorists, some religious terrorists, and terrorism is anti-religion. So he said that he was convinced after seeing the Masjid, was talking to me for an hour and getting the answer to his questions. He made this statement. So this is the impact of peaceful and spiritual environment, which doesn't connect to terrorism. So take advantage of this environment and let them realize that Islam has nothing to do with violence and terrorism. Instead, it encourages spiritual excellence. So when we show them how we pray, and then each position, action, each position or action therein, we have to show that you are connecting to the Creator and submission to God. This is the meaning of Islam. So this is the environment which provides us to explain these things practically, how we connect to our Creator and develop spiritual excellence. It provides an opportunity for one-on-one contact. A proper conversation needs one-to-one contact and informal interaction. When we are formal, the person who is asking out of modesty, he may not ask what he feels deeply inside. But when we are informal, he takes advantage of this informal interaction and asks whatever in the heart. So, and then Dawa experience. We get experience, we get exposure to non-Muslims, and a tour guide, through this, he gets practical experience. And interaction is fruitful when done in an informal way with proper focus. benefit from this opportunity and get well equipped. Avail this opportunity for a hands-on experience in fruitful interaction with others. Try to develop interpersonal communication skills. Learn about other cultures and faith traditions. This is important for Dawah. Dawah means connecting to people, and connecting to people requires interpersonal communication skills. Interpersonal communication skills. If you are not able to connect, if not able to put across your message in a proper way, then the message gets diluted. So we have to learn these things, and we can learn through experience. So this particular thing provides an opportunity. Masjid provides an opportunity, and giving guided tours provide an opportunity, and it also provides an opportunity to see other cultures, what they think, what they feel, why they do this, all those things. So it develops interest. So a tour guide is benefited from this particular experience. A tour guide, when we start tours in the masjid, in the beginning, he may not be a good tour guide, but if he continues, then he develops expertise. So he or she develops expertise. It is like a medical doctor. Medical doctor who completes his degree from the university, he is fresh. So that fellow is not a popular doctor, and he's not a very effective in treatment. Whereas compared to him, a doctor who has seen for years so many patients, he is more experienced. So experience counts. So don't be afraid of becoming a tour guide because of lack of knowledge or lack of understanding. But you have to take the step, the courage. You should have courage to enter into this particular field of dawah, and then Allah will open the doors. It will make it easy for you. A place to reach out more people than elsewhere. This is the masjid in Islamabad, Pakistan, where I visited about 4 or 5 years ago. Visited the Dawah Academy. Brother Hassan Malik was my host, and the number of personal contacts through this program are significantly higher than through a Dawah center. That means when we reach out by calling them inside the mosque and contact them and convey them the message of Islam, this number of people whom we connect is far more than some Islamic center. So this is somewhere in Malaysia. So the Islamic center also receives and does dawah work. But for example, in Bahrain, we have Discover Islam Dawah Center, which caters to the non-Muslims. But what the masjid receives, and we interact with the non-Muslims, so many people, this is on one day, they may be in Islamic center, there may be 4 or 5 standards. But here, in one day, we receive about 50, 60, depends on, in season time, even 1,000, 2,000 like this. Capitalize this prospect of inviting people to the masjid. Don't miss any opportunity to start dawah activity through a masjid tour program. Generate an awareness of using the masjid of tool, dawah tool among fellow Muslims, because fellow Muslims are also not aware. Most of you are also not aware that this is also a dawah tool. Masjid also serves as a platform for dawah. a very effective platform, not only a platform, but very effective platform. So this awareness has to be there. So now I'm going to quickly run through the tour structure. The Masjid tour is conducted in a structured way. Broadly, it comprises three aspects: reception and start off, going around, that means taking the tourists around the mosque, and concluding. Reception and starting off. This is the stage of first encounter. What does it mean? First encounter means this should be the first impression is formed in the first encounter, and it's long-lasting impression. So there has to be some reception table, a formal reception table, and it reflects professionalism, and be welcoming in speech and body language when we receive. So this is from Bahrain. Taking them around. This is the core part of the program. A good tour fulfills the visitors' expectations. At the same time, we meet our objective of this program. That means a win-win situation. They get what they wanted, and we get what we want. They came to see the mosque, and we have showed them mosque and different objects of interest. And we want to communicate, and we have communicated and conveyed the message of Islam. So both are, they get this. So the primary aims to visit the inside of the masjid to see what goes on here. Therefore, don't jump straight away to talk about matters related to religion or faith. So this is the tour guide. We to be careful that the moment we see the visitor inside, we should not start to broach the subject of religion. Rather, try to connect and talk about very secular things. How are you? And things like that, whether or something else of any other interest. So that these people, they get connected and engaged. And then you proceed from there. Show the spots and objects of their interest, including the main prayer hall. Before starting the tour, be mentally ready with your intended tour plan. Adjust your plan depending on their availability. Some people, they have less time. Some people, they have more time. So accordingly, you can plan, and you have to be professionally ready to whatever plan can be properly suitable for a particular group. So when they come to the mosque, we have to convey some information. We have to convey the information concerning the masjid, and we have to convey the information concerning faith and conceptions. This is their interest, and this is our interest. So we have got our own interest also. So convey whatever applicable from the following, depends on the masjid. So we're talking about conveying the information about the masjid. So these are the things which are being done in the Al-Fatih, but not necessarily all these things. You may have something from this, or you may not have anything but to see the main prayer hall. So there's possible, but even main prayer hall, you have to be selective. The objects of interest, both for them and then the main prayer hall to be shown, them may include niche. What is niche? Mihrab. Every masjid has mihrab, or place for imam to stand, or place for direction, qibla, pulpit, member. Copies of the Quran should be kept there for talking about Quran. Unless there is some copy, you show the Quran, they may not understand about completely effectively. display of calligraphy and geometrical design. Use these objects as base to convey Islamic concepts. So when we say calligraphy and geometrical designs, so what is the Islamic concept? Islamic concept is we do not have idols and images because God is beyond this. God cannot be brought into human mind. So the decoration is not done through images or idols, but rather through calligraphy and geometrical designs. If there is some calligraphy displayed, like for example, Allah or Muhammad or some ayat from the Quran, then you use this calligraphy to explain that particular thing which is written there in very nice style. So we can ask, do you know what it is, or something like that, to broach their interest, and then go ahead. So this is what I mean. Use these objects as base to convey Islamic concepts. As far as possible, the tour guide needs to be interactive in conversation. Avoid monologue. This we have talked about. The visitor should not get an impression that you are preaching or trying to force ideas upon them. People don't entertain preaching. Avoid indulging in worthless arguments. If anybody is interested in debating, better have a separate sitting. This argumentative approach will not pay because you're wasting time, and the people who come there to prove their points and not with open mind, not to give an ear or listen to you, then it is a waste of time to try to drag on your argument. If the person is not willing to accept it, go ahead. And if somebody wants to debate, then that is also okay. But it's not with the group or with the particular thing. And if the tour guide is not confident enough, then he can say that there is another person more knowledgeable than me, and then he can do this. So debates and other things, they create friction. But an interactive way proceeding, it provokes thinking process. It triggers thinking process. This is what we want. A non-Muslim who visits to mosque, he is close-minded, and we have to open their mind, open their heart. So this is the idea behind mosque tour. So concluding part, naturally, when we conclude something, we have to thank them and appreciate their visit, and then blah, blah, blah. There are many things we have to say. Then we can keep some guest book and let the people put their remarks. It's their choice. This is not necessary to every visitor puts the remarks, but this is a very good idea. And offer some refreshment or drinks, or at least water. Some things are a token. It depends on your finances and your position and the country. All those things are matter. But this, I'm telling, this are, if it is possible, then do. So this makes a big difference. Something is offered, and then refreshment is given. It shows Islamic hospitality. This wins the heart. And then keep some introductory literature on Islam. And the tour guide, in order to continue, some people are interested in the follow-up. So they take their email address or contact phone number or something which can be, the person can be contacted again. So lastly, now, what sort of results we get? The main thing is at least minimum what we get his negativity is neutralized. The person who enters the mosque, he was having a negative impression about Islam. But when he leaves the mosque, he has a positive image, no more Islamic phobic. This is an achievement. With their misunderstandings cleared, respect of Islam and Muslim is generated. They disrespect Islam because of hatred, and when they, because of some misunderstanding, misconceptions, so they hate Muslims. But when they say hospitality, then this image changes. They become our defenders and ambassadors. This word ambassador I took from a tourist. When he said, he was a German tourist, he told me that we are going now as ambassadors, as your ambassadors. So I brought this word here. He used this word, ambassador, right? So people, when they get the clear picture, true picture of Islam and our culture, then they become our defenders. They may not convert to Islam, but at least if somebody criticizes Islam, they may refute. Yes, we have visited the mosque and we have seen there from inside, and they are not like this. So this helps to peaceful coexistence, which we are trying to do. So we get feedback and comments from guest book, from emails and letters in the newspaper, and social media, WhatsApp and other messages, whatever. So some of this I can show you. There was a letter to newspaper in Bahrain Daily News. You can read later on, but the highlight point is, for the first time in my life, I had the opportunity to visit a mosque. So that means this is an opportunity made available to them. I urge everyone, especially non-Muslims, to visit this place and take advantage of this great learning opportunity. So he is recommending other non-Muslims and learning opportunity. This is an email from an Australian. And the main point I highlighted is, I have never been made so welcome in a mosque. That means welcoming in the mosque makes a big impression, big dent in their feelings anywhere in the world. And he was traveling to different places. I learned so much of about Islam from you. He was he visited, for example, Turkey, Blue Mosque in Turkey, and so many mosques. He said, he talked to me, and then when he went back, he sent this email. Some of them even accept Islam. What more do we expect? In this short period of time, short period of interaction, this is not a big achievement. This is something to think about. If we can bring someone from non-Islam to Islam, not instantly, but even after a day, after a week, after a month, even after a year, it is worth. But we have got cases in Bahrain, in other places, we have noticed that the people who visited the mosque, immediately they embraced. So I've got many stories to tell about, but this is not time. So there are in Bahrain an American who initially did not want to put his foot inside the mosque because he was in the group, and when his friends, they told to come, he refused. That's I don't want to enter a Muslim church. But the same person, after the tour, he visited the prayers and all those things, and given it a proper sitting with him to explain his misunderstandings, the same person was ready for Shahada. Similarly, in Malaysia, there was a case. There are so many cases, but I'm just telling. A Belgian tourist who had never imagined a life-changing impact of the visit in Kuala Lumpur. This is the National Mosque in Kuala Lumpur. The sister Norma, she is in charge of the tours. So she has kept the letter. I had seen that letter. He wrote that he brought a life-changing impact. He never imagined that he would be Muslim by visiting the mosque. He came as a to take photographs of the mosque, but this whole thing turned and he became Muslim. In Maldives, this is a very interesting case. An Italian atheist who, after embracing Islam in Maldives, made dua to die in submission to Allah. And he died in 8 days after embracing Islam, while in sujood on Friday and in the masjid. So we Muslims, born Muslims, we keep praying, oh Allah, Khatima bil khair, made our end, made being pleased with you. So, okay. So to recap, we covered the topic of program, and we talked about introduction, aim and objectives, why masjid, 6 points we discussed, and the tour structures. We talked about 3 segments and the results, new knowledge. So this is the end of my presentation, and anything, any question you can ask if there is a time and if you are available, or if not now, you can send the questions to Brother Ehsan Malik, the organizer of this camp. He can send me to, if you want, you can take my email address and my contact number from him. So Jazakumullah khaira. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sorry for extending time. I think we started a little bit late, and I tried to cover speedily and in a short period of time. I know this will not be sufficient to satisfy your curiosity, but at least it will prompt you to think on these lines. So thank you very much once again. So Brother Ehsan, it's up to you. And our moderator Ayub Mania, I will hand over to you.
Barakallahu fikum, Ustaz Syed, for taking us through this session. It has been so insightful. I hope the audience has found it so informative. So time is now for people to have any kind of questions and submissions. They are highly welcome. I hope you have been following, and if there is anything that you need clarity over, please, you can raise your hand. I can be able to give you a chance to speak to the audience.
Yes. Why?
I can see yes. Muali, yes.
Yes.
You can, yes, you can speak now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We pray may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our Sheikh knowledge and also open good sound head and prosperity. I have 2 questions. The first one has to do with within. When I say within, that is perspective of our scholars in engaging other faith in the mosque. I want Sheikh to shed more light about the perspective of our scholar by engaging other faith in the church. We learned that Prophet Muhammad engaged Christian Nigerian in the mosque with peace and development of Islam, like Sheikh taught us now. So I want him to shed more light on that area. The second one, I want advice from Sheikh. You know, we in Nigeria, we are living in a multi-religious society. No matter how, we have them as a friend, Because we have other faiths as a colleague. Even that time we have them as a mother and father. What can you advise us in a peaceful way of dealing with them? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. I think Ustaz, you can end the slideshow.
Yeah, what exactly he was trying to focus on?
One, I noted that the first one was to do with an opinion regarding regarding the engagement of other faiths in the mosque, inside the mosque. The second one,
what is sorry? Sorry, question number one. What was it?
Question number one was regarding he has some scholars who say it is not allowed, perhaps, to engage people of in the mosque. I think, brother, you can get back the microphone and the
quick answer is
the second question.
Yeah, the quick answer to this is this may be his opinion and his interpretation. We respect that interpretation, but the fact remains that even in the Quran, it is very clearly mentioned that the prohibition is restricted to Masjid al-Haram, which is only Mecca, or if we say Medina also, but not any other masjid. Anyway, okay, question number two.
You can mention your second question. I didn't write it down here.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, alhamdulillah, Sheikh, we are happy for this new
brother Ibrahim. Just a moment.
Yes?
I didn't pick the first question, the second question from the previous person who reacted. Before you come in, I wanted the other person to be finalized. There is another question he raised and I didn't write it down, neither did the presenter did. Wanted him. And now you can raise your hand again as you continue. Your name and where you're calling from. Why, please go on.
Yes, brother Hawaii.
Yes, I believe it is Brother Ibrahim. Please continue. You can unmute and speak.
Okay.
He has lost his audio. I think let's go to Brother Ampire. Brother Ampire, you can have your say.
Naam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Naam, I really appreciate the wonderful innovation. Yeah, I'm Piro Ramazan, Mbara University of Science and Technology, working with Al Hidayah Dawa Foundation, Uganda. It is very wonderful. In fact, it has evidence. I'm sorry. It has evidence in the Quran as in the Hadith, as the Prophet said.
We are having a lot of feedback from you.
Let me move away from the children. Okay, it has evidence from the Hadith, and we've seen the Prophet welcoming the Christians of Najran. It has been a wonderful thing, and although it has been alien to us, people don't know that method, and it has been of a great addition to me. Now, once they are in the mosque, I expect people to have issues of whether they will touch the Mus'haf, but Alhamdulillah, I have heard of scholarly opinions that it is acceptable to hold a Mus'haf, la yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun, like Allah was referring to the Lawhul Mahfuz, not this Mus'haf of ours that is in a book. After all, everyone is having it in the world, and we cannot hold it onto ourselves. So having them in the mosque is like introductory, ta'arif, introducing Islam to people, because people can only appreciate when they live with you and see exactly what you do. And really, I have benefited a lot.
Okay. Yes, it has been a reaction from Azan period. Ustaz, any comment on that?
Yeah, there are many questions concerning the presence and interaction of non-Muslims inside the mosque. One of the questions, one of the problem is the Quran. Can we allow them to touch the Quran? Actually, when we want to talk about the Quran, giving Quran to non-Muslim, we can give the translation, or if the translation in the local language is not available, English translation, any translation can be given. But if the person is Arabic speaking, then the scholars, they have agreed that we can give them this Arabic Quran also, because the very purpose of Quran is Hudal Linnas, is guidance for mankind. If we withhold the book of guidance, if somebody is asking for guidance, then this is not fair. So we can, I can give this short answer, but there are many things to talk about. Another thing is ladies coming and then shaking hand, and so many things are there. So this can be discussed in detail when we train the tour guides. So at this juncture, this is what we can say.
Okay, Barakallah fikum. Brother Ibrahim, I think Huawei, I believe you are the one. You can speak.
Thank you so much, Sheikh, for teaching us this new type of da'wah. My question is,
your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, it's my name is Ibrahim from the Democratic Republic of Congo, the president of Muslim students in the University of Kinshasa. I'm happy to learn this new type of da'wah, and in fact, I did it once without knowing. We had a conference, an interfaith conference here, and Alhamdulillah, we had 3 people who entered in Islam. So it's really inspiring. But my question is, we don't have, what are the architectural types of beauty? As in, Sheikh, do you have some types of mosques or architectural designs of mosques that you have there that you can send all over the world so that people can try and work on having this beautiful mosque? Because one of the things is to attract the person. When you just have a squared mosque and when people enter, you have nothing to show in addition after inviting someone. So do you have these types, or what do you propose in a mosque whereby we don't have these architectural beauties, we just have the mimbar and the space and all that? How can we attract someone in such types of mosques?
Very good question. Very good question. In fact, when I was in Malaysia, in the state of Borneo side, it was Sarawak or somewhere else, Sabah, I think. And we had, as a trainer and some trainees in the tour guide, we had gone to a mosque for our Dhuhr prayer, noon prayer, because we had break, and we went to a small mosque which did not have anything architectural. And then after the prayers, when we were trying to come out, then we received some tourists who were peeping into this mosque. And of course, in the courtyard, they were standing in the courtyard, and their tour guide was trying to explain something. She was Chinese, and these tourists were also Chinese. So then I took this opportunity to explain. So what I mean to say is that it is not necessary to have an architecture. You can turn anything in your favor. Their presence inside the mosque is enough. So if nothing is there, mihrab becomes the main point to discuss, to explain. And what I did in that particular mosque is when I had entered in the mosque, there was one plaque displayed there that this was 200 years old mosque, and it was made from Java wood, pure wood from Java. The whole mosque was made with the wood, but after 100 years, this and this wood was the property of that wood was that it was not eatable by termites. So termite proof, termite, these insects which eat away wood. So this was the speciality of that particular mosque. And after 100 years, they put some other things also removing wood. So this was a story sort of thing. So when the tourists they come, they have to start with some story or something which is of their interest, and then we have to turn their interest into your interest. You have to put your concept at least inside this. So I was telling about mihrab. This is the place where I normally introduce Islam. When they are Christians, this is a very good opportunity for Christians to see the mihrab. I go proceed interactively. I ask, what is this? You see, every mosque has got one dent or one niche inside. All the walls are straight, but this particular wall has one curved piece place. So what does it take? So people they keep thinking, and then somebody gets something of this. Then somebody says correctly, this is direction. I say yes, very good. So what is this direction? So they say direction, different directions. Somebody said north, somebody said something, but one fellow said this direction towards Mecca. Then I asked, why Mecca? Then he said Prophet Muhammad was born there. I say, yes, Prophet Muhammad was born there, but this is not the reason. The reason is that there was a patriarch, the father of all prophets, Abraham. It was he who built a mosque, a temple to worship one God. So this particular place signifies the direction of that mosque. So we are connecting with their Christians very easily, or Jews very easily to mention that we are Abrahamic faith. And then I asked, what was the faith of Abraham? And they never thought of it. They say, oh, he was a Jew. I said, no, the word Jew was not existing at that time. The Judaism started from the children of Israel, Israel was the descendant of Abraham. So how can he be Jewish? Then he said, okay. I asked them whether he did have any religion. Yes, he was a religious person. You remember when God wanted him to sacrifice his son, what was his response? He was ready. And the Bible reports that this son was replaced by a sheep, a ram. So what does it indicate? It indicates devotion to God, acceptance to God, and submission to God. So when I made this statement that his attitude was submission to God, isn't it? They agreed. I said this particular concept is ingrained inside one word in Arabic, and you have heard this word. Guess what? So they were confused, and then somebody said, Inshallah. They said, no, Islam. So this is how step by step, you can proceed. And then we can say the carpet or place where they have got something on the ground which has lines, that means straight lines. This is why. What is there? They don't know. So take this particular thing as a base to introduce that this is the line in which the Muslims are supposed to pray in straight lines with no gaps and all this blah, blah, blah. So other things, I'm not giving details. And then demonstrate how the prayer is done. They will be happy to see some drama going on. And then introduce the concept of unity, brotherhood, that we have to stand shoulder to shoulder and we cannot leave gap, because giving gap means the prophet said that devil enters in between. That means there is one person next to the other person, it does not feel comfortable, so there is a gap. And then God, in the sight of God, all are equal. The most honored in the sight of God, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. So the most fearing, most honored is the one who is most God conscious. So this is the concept of equality, brotherhood, and such things, such concepts in Islam. So this attracts the non-Muslim attention. So this in Bahrain, this Malaysian experience, the tour guide who brought a group of tourists with her, she was telling, "Are you available every day? I don't see you. This is a very good tour today. We were very happy," and blah blah. So this, this is a technique which we need to develop and practice. Anything which is available as looking very ordinary, which is mundane, can be taken as a base to introduce Islamic concept or Islamic faith or things like that. It is not necessary to have a good architecture. Good architecture is excellent, because this also is a source of attraction. But even if it is not there, it doesn't mean a mosque is not suited for dawah. A mosque is always suited for dawah. So this particular thing, what to talk about and how to go about in a very ordinary mosque, this we can have a separate session if you like. And if Brother Hassan Malik can arrange, so we can have that particular session. Yes.
We already had a program of 8 weeks previously, and we have the recording of that almost 12 hours or more than 12 hours recording. So we will upload that to our website, to our YouTube channel, inshallah. And we do plan to have some more activities and some more programs. So Sheikh, we will be in contact with you, and also we wanted to have some master class for some master trainers in this field. Brother Minya, we have already taken a lot of time, so maybe we can stop. And some brothers were asking about Muslim scholars studying Bible in the chat box, and already someone was asking touching of Mus'haf. So I just wanted to tell you that we had a 15 lecture and introduction to world religions course for Dawa workers. And that recording is also available. We invited 15 scholars from all over the world, and they gave their lectures on almost all the religions that are available today. So that will also be posted to, uploaded to the YouTube channel for your benefit. Sheikh, thank you very much. And Brother Minya, you can conclude.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Ustaz. I still have plans here, but I think we may not exist for because of time. I just wanted Ustaz to have your closing remarks, inshallah. In a minute.
It is Akumullah. And Sister Leia Delagis, this seems to be from Bosnia. We would like to hear from her. We have heard from Africans, and why not from somebody from that part of the world?
So
Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Yes, let me.
She wanted to have a chance to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, if it's
Sister, I think you can have your say in a minute, inshallah.
okay. is gone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Thank you very
Alaikum
much.
assalam.
Thank you very much for such insightful and informative presentation. I'm PhD student. I'm from Serbia, actually, and I'm studying at IIUM Malaysia. So this virtual camp is my first experience with Dawah. I don't know so much about that, so this was a really great opportunity for me to hear. Thank you very much.
Yeah. My advice is please go to Masjid Negara in Kuala Lumpur, which is not far away from you, and then contact Sister Norma Suleiman. She is my friend, and then she will be very happy to receive you, and she will tell all about those things, features of a mosque tour. They are doing excellent job, and we are cooperating with them. So she will be very good help for you in any way, yes. So Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very much. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so
So-
much for whoever has managed to log on this platform. And thank you, Ustaz Syed, for sharing
My pleasure.
with us.
My
We
pleasure.
hope that we shall have more of this so that people can be able to master this technique and use it in our field. With that, I think we shall have to end here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.